I think a lot of landed buyers, they are not aware, basically, that there are certain enclaves or certain streets that have slower growth and certain areas have higher growth in terms of valuation appreciation. So what is a slow growth landed enclave? Now, this is an example of a slow growth street. Basically, after 1996, there has been no transactions until today. This is an example of slow growth. And why is it so? Is because it is a little bit difficult when, let's say, you own a landed on this particular street or enclave and you want to price it in the market, because the first thing you need to do is that you need to call your bankers and ask, hey, what is my current valuation? Or you need to get a valuer down. And in Singapore, they use approaches whereby it's very heavily centered on latest transactions over the last maybe 6 to 12 months. And let's say if the valuer, or let's say when your banks want to value a property, giving you a desktop valuation, and they don't see a good, healthy amount of transactions, it's a little bit hard for them to take reference across your enclave. They will definitely take reference on the entire market trend, the entire district, but the closest match and the most powerful match in terms of valuation growth will be transactions within your enclave. So how do you identify a slow growth? For example, there's been a couple of transactions, year 2000, 2006, but then after that, there's been no transactions. Example of also a little bit of difficulty when it comes to pricing your home. So for example, these are terraces and land size pretty big as well. But then the last done back then was $755 per square foot. Now across Singapore, a lot of properties has already moved towards the range of about $2,000 over per square foot already. And then if you want to price it right now, in the year 2024, which is 18 years later, maybe the bank valuer will find that it's a little bit hard to give you a good valuation. They might give you a fair one, but very hard for them to give you a good or aggressive valuation if you're trying to sell. So why did the enclave become slow growth? Could be various possibilities. Maybe all the owners in the enclave are very happy staying there. Nobody wants to sell. Or the other flip side of the reason is that sellers did attempt to sell before, but there's very little demand. Maybe in terms of the popularity of the enclave is not as buoyant as another enclave. So there could be various reasons, but the most important thing is that this is a resultant of a lack of transaction. And how will a slow growth landed enclave transform into a high growth one? How do we become like a good buoyant kind of landed enclave? So similarly, if you follow us on our condo content, we talk a lot about volume effect. It's a little bit similar when it comes to landed as well. Enclaves that has a good volume, they have price growth in terms of PSF, as you can see, has grown all the way to 2,000 plus PSF as of March 2024 with the later transaction. So let's say if you want to sell your inter-terrace, your land plot size, maybe it could be 1,000, 7,000 or 2,000. It's very easy for your banker or your valuer to take reference and give you a stronger valuation because there has been something that has been transacted.